Have you ever noticed that huge gap between what people say and what they actually do? It's right there, in that little space between our words and our actions, that we find out who someone really is. And this is a story all about that gap.
So let me ask you something. What do your small, everyday actions say about you? I mean, especially when you think nobody's looking. It's a simple question, right? But it's a deep one. Let me tell you a story that really got me thinking about this. So, the other day, I went to visit my old college friend Javed. We've been friends for ages. He's done really well for himself. He's the head of the engineering department at a big university. A super respected guy.
And as I walked into his office, I overheard him giving this incredible piece of advice to a student. He was saying, to be a good engineer, you need a sense of responsibility. Millions of lives could be in danger. He was so passionate, talking about integrity and the weight of their work. It was inspiring.
And honestly, I was so impressed. After the student left, I told him, man, that was an amazing lesson you just taught. And he just smiled and said, yeah, it's our duty. In that moment, he really seemed like the perfect mentor.
And then, just like that, the whole picture just shattered. His phone rang. It was a contractor calling about some repair work on one of the university buildings.
And this is where it gets just unbelievable. Literally minutes, after that powerful speech about quality and responsibility, I hear him on the phone saying the exact opposite. He's telling the contractor to just reuse the old pipes, cut corners wherever he can, saying no one is going to notice anyway, save the money. It was the same man, but it was like listening to two completely different people.
And when he hung up and saw the look on my face, he kind of laughed it off. He said, look, this is practical life. We teach ethics to students, but we have to manage our expenses too, right? He drew this line in the sand between the ideals we teach and the real world where we have to pay the bills. A justification that, let's be honest, sounds pretty familiar, doesn't it?
And that's when it hit me. This story isn't really about my friend Javed anymore. It's about us. His contradiction, it's not unique. It's like a mirror, reflecting a much, much bigger issue in all of us.
And it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Isn't this the exact problem we see everywhere? This gap between what we say in public and what we do in private. You have to ask, is this contradiction slowly, quietly, just hollowing out the very foundations of our society?
It really begs the question, do we actually get what social responsibility means? Or is it just another chapter in a textbook we make kids memorize? Are these values something we live by, or are they just nice-sounding words we preach to other people?
So often, we love to talk about changing the world, right? We make these huge, grand plans. But then we completely drop the ball on the small, unseen, everyday stuff, the little choices in our own lives. It's like we're bold in our hypocrisy, acting as if those small moments just don't add up.
So this brings us to the most important part of all of this. Where is our character really tested? Because it's clearly not in the big speeches or the public promises.
The truth, I think, is a lot quieter than that. Our real character, who we truly are, isn't in the spotlight. It's hidden in all those tiny little actions we take every single day, especially when we're sure no one else is watching.
So what does that integrity actually look like? Well, a true teacher doesn't just give lectures, they give lessons for life. A truly great business owner doesn't just chase profit, they guarantee quality. A real healer gives you compassion right along with the medicine. Anything less is just playing a part.
You can think of society as this giant mirror. It doesn't invent the image it shows us. It just reflects back whatever we put in front of it. So if we're constantly putting in little acts of neglect and dishonesty, why are we so surprised when we see a broken world staring back?
But here's the good news. We absolutely have the power to change that reflection. The change doesn't start out there with some big new policy or movement. Nope. It starts somewhere much, much closer to home.
So where do we even begin? Well, any real change has to start with us. It starts with a simple promise to ourselves. First, just start with you. Look at your own actions. Second, try to be good from the heart, not just for an audience. And finally, start to see responsibility not as some heavy burden, but as a duty, and eventually, a habit. And the stakes here, they're actually higher than we think. There's physical death, of course, but then there's something else we could call apparent death. That's the moment our inner self, our conscience, our character, just kind of dies. It happens the moment we decide to turn our back on our responsibilities and just pretend to be alive.
So, I'm just going to leave you with this one thought to chew on. When you strip away all the job titles, the audience, and what everyone expects of you, in those quiet moments when an action is hidden and a choice is yours alone, who are you, really? Because that person, that's the person who's actually building the world that all of us have to live in.